Hi there, Stampers. This is Lisa with Queen Bee Creations. Welcome to today's live. Today we're doing a very fun card. We're going back to one of my favorite bundles, the Sweet Old Friends, and we're going to do this kind of Winnie the Pooh themed stadium arena card. This was a new one to me. I guess one of the male demonstrators from overseas had done this as his swap card on the incentive trip. And I've seen a couple people share it from then, even one of the artisan design team members on the Stampin' Up page. So I just thought we had to try it. And of course, they did it with different bundles and different designer series paper, all that good stuff. So welcome, Linda. I'm glad you got to see us live. Helen said she loves the Winnie the Pooh. They're going to get lots of those cards this year. Good. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started on today's card. So here we are down on my desk. As I said, this is the bundle we're using. And unfortunately, the dies are currently on back order. They are going to be back in. They tell us the week of July 13th. The stamp set is available, but the dies are adorable. And they cut out not only the stamped images, but they also cut out the designer series paper images. So they are something worth waiting for. And all you have to do is go to the Stampin' Up website and put your email address in there, and they will email you as soon as they are available. To save us a little bit of time, I went ahead and I did some of the stamping and then some of the coloring and some of the die cutting. So we're not going to have to do quite as much on camera. I'm going to show you enough that you get kind of an idea of how I color with the blends, but you're not going to be bored to tears. Okay, and then I have all the little pieces for our card. So, of course, the back is just starting out as a standard card base. I'm a big fan of starting out with the 5.5 by 4.25. So that all the cards kind of fold into that. And then because it's 5.5 and scored halfway, it's scored at 2 3/4. Okay, so that's going to be our back. Then we have this little pop-in section in the middle, this right here. So that's this piece right here. And I'm using Hydrangea Hue, which is one of our new in colors. This is 4 3/4 by 3 1/4. Scored 3/8 inch from either end, and then 2 3/8 in the middle. So halfway in the middle, 3/8 in from either end. So 3/8, 2 3/8, 4 3/8. Okay, we have the two pieces that are going to be the sky and the back. So I have two of these that are 4 by 2.5. And then I took one of these scenes, and I'm going to show you how I cut it down selectively to make it fit. Okay, so that's going to go in the middle there, and we will play around with that. But it's one of those sheets that had several designs on it, and I picked this one to work with. Okay, then we have our front piece that is 6 1/4. Again, scored 3/8 from either end, so it's at 3/8 and 6 7/8. And that's just enough so that we can put some adhesive on the back and get that to stick. And then I have a piece for the back that's going to be the same size as the designer series paper here, so that's going to be 2.5 by 4. Okay, so that's going to go on the back. I have these two pieces that I wanted to color. So I'm going to bring in some of the new in colors because they are perfect for Winnie the Pooh. We have Piglet in Blushing Bride. We have Eeyore in Hydrangea Hue. And of course, Pooh Bear is going to be adorable in Golden Glow. To start kind of putting our card together, I know I want these two adhered to the back, so we can go ahead and do that. See, isn't this paper adorable? So there's a die that cuts out the honey pots, Tigger, owl, Pooh Bear, rabbit, piglet. All the dies work. So I wanted the sky back there. Here is where I want my scene. Okay, so I'm looking at this right here, and I know I can't have the white at the top. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it just below the tree line. And I'm not measuring, I'm just taking off that white strip, okay? Then I'm kind of looking at about how far this is going to be. So the two pieces that are going to go on there are, looks like 1 7/8 and 1 7/8 by 3 1/8. Okay, so it needs to be 3 1/8 tall. I'm going to chop off a little on the side over here, and then I said 1 7/8. And then 1 7/8. Okay, so it kind of chopped up my scene and gave me some odd scraps that, I don't know, maybe I could use for something, maybe I couldn't, but I made the best use of that design there in the middle so that it's really going to look like they're walking through the woods. Okay, and that's going to go on here. I'm going to burnish it so that you guys can see where the edges are. But this is going to have a little skinny border. That's why I didn't quite let it stick all the way, because I got to make sure I'm centered here, right? Do you guys know the trick that if you ever let adhesive go down, I mean, you have the undo you could use, obviously, but another quick trick is if it's not too bad, you can use your heat tool and heat up the paper with your heat tool, and it will loosen the glue just enough for you to be able to gently pull it off without destroying the cardstock. Okay, so there is our scene. I don't know why I look off. Okay, but what I want to do is put adhesive back here. So I'm going to come in with my Terran tape, because that's going to give a nice strong hold, and it's going to keep a cover on there until I'm ready to go ahead and peel it and let it stick. Because what I want to do is center it in my card here. So I want it to be right over the other seam, and then centered top and bottom. Then I'm going to reveal the adhesive and peel it back. Okay, peel that off and fold it over. And then I'm going to have that one bend back and this one bend forward. Okay, then we're going to take this one that's going to go across the bottom where all of our guys are going to stand, and I'm doing this one in Peaceful Pine. But I wanted them to be walking kind of on a little path, so I needed a little bit of dirt. So I could either do that tear technique like I did with the sand for our other card, Or what I did for this one is I came in and just used the scissors and kind of gently went along and just kind of did a little bit of a slope and came up with that. So it's ground and it's uneven. Okay, that's all I was kind of looking for. And that's what I did last time too. So I've got this on two sides, but I could lay this in my trimmer right down the middle and give that a cut. And then I have two more. So just random walkways. And I want to go ahead and glue one of those on first because I'm going to use some liquid glue. And it's easier for me to wiggle this way, and then if it's too long, I can trim off any excess. But it looks like we're good. Okay, so that's going to be our bottoms. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to put adhesive on either end. And this time it's just not scored. It's going to just bend. So it's kind of like the bendy card I've seen a couple people do. And then I'm going to adhere it at one end, flush up to the edge and flush up to the bottom, and then do the same on the other side. And again, I'm doing this with it flat, so I know it's going to go into the envelope. It will collapse and just take regular postage, which is what I intended. But then it will pop open and be able to be displayed. Okay, I'm going to arrange all the little animals on there. The first time I did it, it took me a little bit, so I'm just going to go ahead and adhere them the same way that they were on my other card, because I kind of wanted, rabbit facing inward and Kanga facing inward. I'm putting the placed a sign on the back so it doesn't really disrupt the look on the front of the card. But then, like I said, I started with rabbit. I wanted him to be facing inward, so I'm going to put him over here on the left with a couple of glue dots. Kanga's definitely facing this way, so I'm going to put her over there, but it didn't really leave me enough room, so I kind of cut off her tail. Okay, so since they faced inward and they were tall, they're going on the outsides. I'm going to put Tigger over here. And then we have Eeyore. And we're almost done. So have you seen this card yet? Like I said, I thought it was fairly new from the incentive trip. So maybe you've seen it, maybe you haven't. I'm always on the lookout for new folds. I'm almost up to 50 for book 5. Okay, so I see that his head kind of bends a little bit. So I may just give him a little bend. And then this tail sticks up, and so I think I might stick a mini glue dot under his tail, but then I think we're good. That is our card. So Monday, we'll be coming back for another card, which is a triple stepper card. And I've got a neat little trick that makes this inside really super easy to cut, even though it's got an uneven top to it. So that's what we'll do on Monday. And then on Thursday, we'll be doing this one. Okay. Does anyone have any questions? Anyone shopping Prime Days? I know that ends today, tomorrow. Amazon Prime Days were June 23rd to June 26th. So click the link in my description down there and check out my Amazon page, because maybe there's something on Amazon Prime deals that you just don't want to miss out on. So other than that, I will see you back here on Monday for another fun fold card. Thanks. Bye.